Welcome to the White Knight Theater. The word nigger can influence the jury's judgment, making them blind and reactive. The term nigger was still ruled as evidence related to racism in the courtroom. It was allowed to be admitted by the defense. The word nigger was officially included as a criterion for evaluating the credibility of courtroom testimony. Meanwhile, the defense received some good news. We received an anonymous letter from an insider. This letter came from a colleague of Detective Furman. What did it say that finally brought down this seemingly proactive and responsible detective from his pedestal? It turns out that the story behind Furman is equally complex and delicate. Previously, with the help of Dr. Lee, the defense team discovered some blood samples containing EDTA, an anticoagulant. The credibility of the bloody socks as evidence was questionable. It also confirmed that the police made frequent mistakes in the evidence collection at the crime scene. But are these discoveries enough to overturn the key DNA evidence presented by the prosecution and offer another possibility? Johnny decided to call a meeting to summarize all the findings so far. Regarding the blood sample evidence and the DNA evidence, Paris, you brief everyone on our latest discoveries. Sure, Johnny. Over these days, we've found more issues in the physical evidence, two of which are crucial. First, the blood mixture in Simpson's Mustang was never formally documented. Second, the bloodstains on the socks found at Rockingham were discovered and documented 2 months after the crime. Coupled with Dr. Lee's previous findings about EDTA in the blood evidence, all of this indicates problems with the police. The presence of OJ's blood at the crime scene was likely planted. If planting evidence is established, where did the blood for planting come from? Do you remember the day after the crime when OJ flew back from Chicago to Los Angeles and was taken to the police station immediately upon landing? He gave a blood sample to the police after being questioned without a lawyer present. He only told me about it much later. Now, I don't know whether to say OJ was stupid or just fearless because he was innocent, but we need evidence. Someone is looking into it, and we'll have answers soon. All right, that leaves one question. Is Detective Furman's hands clean? The most critical figure in the Simpson case is about to appear. Detective Mark Furman was one of the first police officers to arrive at the Bundy Drive crime scene and was also present at the Rockingham location. He was the one who first discovered the blood in the Mustang and led the detectives over the fence to investigate Rockingham. Most crucially, Furman found a key piece of evidence in O.J. Simpson's yard, a bloodied right-hand glove. This bloodied glove directly influenced the jury's opinion in the subsequent trial. Was O.J. Simpson guilty or innocent? As a white detective with the Los Angeles Police Department, who is Mark Furman really? Is he an upright and capable detective with no blemishes? Or has he also made inappropriate remarks and actions? He had previously handled the domestic violence incident involving O.J. Simpson and Nicole. Did this create a grudge between him and Simpson? Did he frame Simpson? In the defense team, experienced F. Lee Bailey had hired multiple investigators to look into Furman's past during the pretrial period. In their most recent feedback, the investigators finally made a breakthrough. Let me tell a story, and you all can assess it. Don't keep us in suspense. Our initial investigation focused on the idea that Furman was a typical white LAPD officer who might have made mistakes during law enforcement and been sued. We investigated this for a long time, but found nothing. However, in the process, our investigators discovered something interesting. He was once the plaintiff in a case. He sued the Los Angeles Retirement Board. What does this have to do with what we're looking for? The key is that the lawsuit documents clearly state that Furman wanted to retire early and receive his pension, but the board did not agree to his pension terms. We received an anonymous letter from an insider. Furman's sudden actions were because his superior made personnel adjustments, and a black person became his leader. He refused to cooperate and even told a few of us here that he found it hard to suppress his hatred for black people. So, was he overly proactive in the OJ case because he wanted to get promoted and replace that black leader, or was it because he had a racial bias against OJ? How credible is this anonymous letter? Let our millions of viewers decide. Interesting. We need more discoveries. As long as the prosecution dares to put Furman on the stand, we have a breakthrough. Just at this moment, Johnny finally received that important call. Did you find it? Just give a conclusion. The total amount of OJ's blood sample collected by the police was 8 milliliters, but now there's only 6.5 milliliters left. That's 1.5 milliliters missing. Gentlemen, we're very close to the truth. The truth excites and saddens me. Did the police really do that? Our courtroom breakthrough starts with the criminalist Dennis Fung. Thanks to Dr. Lee's findings, Paris, the rest is up to you. As the trial progressed, the importance of DNA expert Paris Schechter in the defense team increased. Most of the time, when appearing in court, either Johnny or Paris would lead. Johnny controlled the overall situation, while Paris handled the science-related parts. He was clear-headed and purposeful, standing out in the trial and taking the second chair in the team. During the entire trial, Barry's most successful cross-examination was with Dennis Fung, who was sitting in the witness box. In the Simpson case, this LAPD criminalist was responsible for evidence collection at the crime scene. Therefore, if Paris Schechter could break through Dennis Fung, it would mean overturning the prosecution's entire chain of evidence against O.J. Simpson. Mr. Fung, the police found an envelope next to Mr. Goldman's body at the Bundy Drive crime scene. The envelope had a clearly bloody half-shoe print on it. Did you collect this piece of evidence? Yes, I did. Generally speaking, when you collect evidence that might have fingerprints, according to the police procedure, what should you do? Put on gloves to prevent the evidence from being contaminated. So, that means you definitely wouldn't touch the evidence with bare hands, right? I try to avoid it. So, did you wear gloves when you collected the envelope that day? I did. Are you sure? I'm sure. After Dennis Fung repeatedly confirmed that he was wearing gloves when he collected the envelope, Paris Schechter presented a video in court. The video clearly showed Dennis Fung, without gloves, taking the envelope from his assistant, Ms. Mazzola. This video directly contradicted the testimony Fung had given just seconds earlier. The jurors were in an uproar, and the shutter clicks from the media reporters were incessant. Dennis Fung's face turned red in an instant, and he became stammering under Paris Schechter's relentless cross-examination. Does this scene jog your memory? Mr. Fung, when you took the envelope from Assistant Mazzola, you were not wearing gloves, were you? I don't know. This footage is a bit blurry. That might not be accurate. Mr. Fung, on June 13th, at the crime scene, did the police ever cover Nicole's body with a white blanket? Yes, but that was to block the media's cameras. Mr. Fung, can you tell us where this blanket came from? From the victim Nicole's apartment. As far as I know, a basic principle that criminalists must follow is to avoid bringing an item containing a large amount of hair and fibers into and placing it at the crime scene, right? These guidelines should be written in your manuals, or more accurately, they're in your college textbooks. Yes, from a professional standpoint of a criminalist, this is a very serious mistake, isn't it? Yes. What are the possible consequences of doing this? It could lead to cross-contamination of evidence at the scene. If cross-contamination occurs, would it affect the accuracy of blood sample testing or DNA evidence testing? I don't know. I don't know what I did. I panicked. Are you saying that other pieces of evidence might have similar issues? Under Paris Schechter's continuous assault, the rhythm previously controlled by the prosecution was disrupted. In the O.J. Simpson case, the way evidence was collected, handled, and stored, all the various mishaps in the police's investigation and evidence collection process were proven to have actually occurred.